I went to Chicago just coincidentally on November 4th. Obviously, Obama was elected, and so I went to Grant Park and heard his speech. And this post is just kind of explaining from my point of view the atmosphere there and his speech and how I found it inspirational, I guess.
That must have been really exciting.
Yeah, it was way cool. Everyone was really pumped up, and I was with my mom, and she was so surprised at how many people there were. Everyone was so respectful, and there was nothing really, no rioting or anything going on, so it was pretty cool.
So Dominique had a reaction. Do you want to talk about what you were thinking?
Her experience was great. I would have loved to be there, but I wasn't. I understand that she was there and it was crazy and the atmosphere was crazy, but what stood out to me was what you wrote about he being the black president in a still very racist country. This country is racist. I'm not saying it's not, but I feel that people like yourself are making this a race issue, and it's not. It's not about the color of his skin. It's about what he's providing for this country. It has nothing to do with the color of his skin. It's about his etiquette and how he presents himself as a president and a candidate. So that was what I disliked about the whole thing. So everything else was great,
I totally agree with you. I think he's going to be a great president, not because of the color of his skin, but the reason I brought it up in that post is because, when I was there was a big emphasis on him being the first African-American president, and, so many people in the streets were crying and saying, "Thank you, Lord, I never thought I'd see the day when, a black man was in office." So that's why I brought it up, not because I think he'll be good.
You see things like that, things like I saw a black whatever saying that he's like the first. I'd never see a day like that. So that's really ignorant, because it's just, I feel like it's things like that are like wow, he's not fully black. He's half white and he's half black, and I'm pretty sure that without the votes of the support of Hispanics and Caucasian people and Asians and Middle Eastern people, he wouldn't have been voted. And I feel like we're not getting any. People who are not black are not getting any acknowledgement that we also contribute into his presence.
Dominique, I hear you saying that you understand the emotional reaction people have, but you want us to stop and think also.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the sense of pride, but that's the reason why the country is the way it is, because people are just focusing on where he's from.
So you're worried that feeling of pride represents some of the racism that still is in our country?
People might take this pride into a dream and do things, hurtful things, or I don't know. I don't want people to feel powerful than other people because they think that, oh yeah, now we're running, now we have someone that's representing us. No, he's not representing just you, not just black people. He's representing me too. I don't want that. He has to represent me because I'm also a citizen in the United States. And I know he's not, but what I'm trying to say is that I don't want people to think that, oh, Barack Obama is my dude, he's colored, so then he's going to focus more on a certain race and not the other. He's going to neglect this other. That's the way people sometimes come off.
Katie, can I ask you to say a little more about coming from Salt Lake City and somebody like Dominique or Farisa who have never been to Salt Lake City? We have our own prejudice about you guys.
Okay, I go to a private school because if you go to public school here, it's basically like Mormon school, and since I'm not Mormon, I'm kind of a minority, especially if I lived outside of Salt Lake in cities which are like an hour away, like Provo and Orem. They're probably 96% LDS, which is the Mormon religion. And so as a younger kid, I was outed for not being Mormon and not having the same ideas and ideals as them, like super conservative. So it's pretty weird living here, especially when you have ideas. Like, all my next door neighbors are super Mormon, so when we put an Obama sign out, we kind of got scorned at and stuff. And so it's been interesting growing up here. When I go to other cities, I'm seriously amazed at how busy and diverse they are. And obviously I've traveled a lot, but then you always come back home and everyone looks the same, acts the same, and it's frustrating at times, but not all of us are Mormon and conservative.
I think that's why everybody loves New York, because it's like everybody's here. Like every type of culture is here.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you
Definitely.
have closed-minded people, they have like their own little community, and they won't bother anybody else and stuff like
Yeah.
that. If you walk into Times Square, you'll see everyone.
That's what's amazing about New York. There's a lot of diversity going on. There's no certain culture. There's so much cultures that you don't feel insecure about yours, or you don't feel awkward. You have your own thing going on. There's racism in New York, but it's overshadowed by all the cultures that are here.
It doesn't show.
Yeah.
it doesn't show.
There's a lot of racism in Utah. I mean, in Salt Lake it is more diverse, but just to give you an idea of my school, one of the more, open-minded, diverse places, I probably have maybe 3 African American kids in my whole class. So, and like maybe 10, 15 Hispanic people, and then a few Asian kids, and the rest it's just all white. So it gets frustrating at times. So, but like even we're all there because we're sick of dealing with the closed-minded people. That's mostly why people go to judge, because that's my school judge. People are really judgmental too. If you're not like blonde, white, Mormon, blue-eyed, you're kind of weird. I don't know, it's pretty weird.
Oh, man. Ugh.
Also, in my post, I said, in this still racist nation is like, I live in a place where even today, we're not in the South, but people are still talking about, like in the newspaper today, or not today, a few days ago, there's 2 newspapers. One's this independent newspaper, and then one is owned by the Mormon Church. And it was talking about Barack Obama, how he's black, how it's kind of a disgrace to the nation, and it's just kind of sad to see that.
Man, that's so ignorant.
That's not fair.
If he was wow. So that's
Dominique, I just want to not allow us to feel so comfortable for a second, though, and just think about Katie being this person who's more open-minded than her neighbors, and then she's shocked by the local newspaper and so forth, and so she posts this thing on Youth Voices and gets accused of being maybe having some racist attitudes herself, right? So can you imagine how that might feel, in some way?
I mean, hey, I give you props, like I couldn't imagine, I can't imagine being in a town where you are, if you don't have blonde hair, or blue eyed, you're just, I couldn't imagine. I would love to see those, that they're Caucasian. I would like to see them come to New York and see how long they'd last in this, and how they'd function around this area. I don't think that they would last, and I think that they would probably I guess I'm glad that you're not closed-minded like they are, and you should be very proud of yourself if you live in a very racist area, and yet you have managed to see outside the box, and you managed to accept that other cultures, and you're not as closed-minded. So consider yourself more, I guess, intelligent and less ignorant than they are.